without further ado, I would like to introduce one of my favorite and most inspirational people, Eric Newman, the founder and chief play officer of Rock Solid Foundation.
Awesome, thank you. Making sure I'm not wearing the same thing as on the slide. That's sometimes awkward. So really quick before we get started, especially speaking after lunch, look at your neighbor and give them a high five. I think it's a universal way to tell them they're awesome. Look at your other neighbor, the one that you chose second, and say, sorry, I put you second. So give them a round. Thought you had a friend, let's go. Just kidding. Just kidding. I am super honored and privileged to be here. I think this guy gave them both at the same time. So in the LA Dodger hat, let's go too. Is that for style or you like LA Dodger? Oh man. He was gonna get an award, but now he's not. So hey, actually, yep, you get the honest award. Stuff like this, conferences, summits, new buildings, none of that happens by accident. We all agree on that? None of this stuff happens. It all happens by hard work. How many of us know that life is hard? Everybody should rate it. Every once in a while, life can be hard. Building a building is hard. Selling sunglasses, promoting technology, marketing, branding, all of that stuff is hard. But the people that practice, I believe everybody's born great, but few people practice greatness. Why? Because it's hard. It's super hard. So what if we can learn to do hard better? And so before we get into that, I just want to spend a few minutes. I also believe that if you identify the root of something, you understand the fruit to what it produces. So meaning, why am I here? Well, you just heard you're going to be packing some bags, but the real reason that I'm here, so I love why. And if you've ever been, how many people have ever been on a build site before? Build site meaning building a play set? Awesome. A couple more people need to join. So, if your why is strong enough, you'll always figure out how. Bill Walsh. If your why is strong enough, you'll always figure out how. So with it being knowing the exact why, everybody raised their hand saying life is hard. So why I'm standing here right now is I started Rock Solid Foundation about 15 years ago. It's hard to believe that it was 15 years ago. It was on a hope and a prayer. We sold donuts, Krispy Kreme donuts, for the very first play set that we ever built. Don't sell Krispy Kreme donuts anymore, but if I had to, I would. And the reason pediatric cancer is so close to me is, see that stud right there? One on the left? That was me when I was 3 years old. I was diagnosed with a very rare form of pediatric cancer, hepatoblastoma. And hepatoblastoma is liver cancer. And so they gave my parents a 10% survival rate that I would be here today. They ended up giving me chemotherapy, radiation, and also took out 3/4 of my liver. How many people know that the liver grows back? See, I did not know that. My parents never told me that, so they were very smart. In my adolescent years, they're like, remember you had liver cancer, don't drink. So it's funny, but it's true. And now sometimes I say that, and I have a old fashioned. I love old fashions. They're like, what type of cancer do you have? I'm like, liver. And then I sip it. It's very awkward. But anyways, so I had liver cancer, not supposed to be here. And then the other photo symbolizes, so what used to be my prison is now my platform. Your pain, a lot of us, all of us have been through pain. Majority of the time, people's pain becomes their prison. It becomes their prison. But what if there was a world where people could learn to push past the pain and then make it their platform? And so where that used to be a cell wall where I would keep track, what that represents is me being cancer-free. There's a couple more hashtags to it. I am now 35 years cancer-free. I had chased everything that the world said that I should have. But when I lost everything, guess where the world was? Nowhere to be found. So I did what any responsible businessman would do. I drained my bank account and went to Costa Rica. Loved to surf. I had $1,500 left in my name. Went to Costa Rica, spent some time, wrote down a 4-letter word while I was there, H-O-P-E. Hope. How do you do hard better? Drop the F-bomb. Does anybody know? Who likes to drop the F-bomb? You can raise your hand. Look, he's like, it's passion, baby. That's all it is, right? So it's not that 4-letter word, F-bomb, but the people that choose to do hard better, that push through all the obstacles that are put in their place, from starting a business, coming to work every day, finding childcare, like life is hard. Being married's hard. Who's married in here? Look, she said, yep, and look down. Just kidding. If your spouse is in the room, do not look at them. Just kidding. So, it's hard. But those that succeed in life learn to drop the F-bomb. What the F-bomb is fear. You learn to drop the F-bomb long enough to take action. And so that's how you're able to bust through barriers, and that's how you can learn to do hard better. So dropping the F-bomb. So I have studied fear, and I said it earlier that fear is always with you. I ran across this quote, fear is like a fire. If you lose control of it, it can kill you. If you learn to contain it, it can work for you. The crazy thing about fire is that the same fire that we use to cook our food, to boil the water, which I don't cook my food on fire anymore, I like it to be prepared for me, but in the way that people used to heat their house, fear is like fire, like you have to have that to succeed. But then if you lose control over it, it's that same spark, it's that same fire that takes out California in the wildfires. Like that's devastating. It's the same thing. So if we can learn to control and to drop fear long enough, there's nothing that we can't do. And so you got to understand what fear is. Fear is like fire. And this is the definition that I tell myself constantly over fear. It's false evidence appearing real. Fear is false evidence appearing real. If you want to do hard better, you want to change the world, it's false evidence appearing real, which a lot of fear comes from past experience. Nothing worth pursuing in life can you arrive at if you cannot push past the fear. How do we do hard better? You got to drop the F-bomb.